Hey, hey, everybody. Happy Monday. Well, I'm so excited for this live today because I am going to have my sister from another mister, Miss Charity Murphy, come on, and we are going to talk about the definition of crazy. So once I find her here, I am going to invite her on, and hopefully she is here.
Hello.
Oh, there she is.
This
Sorry
is the
about
definition of crazy, the workarounds, right? Sometimes.
Absolutely. The Be Live is just not happening lately for me. I don't know what the
No,
problem is. So, well, I was in a bad Wi-Fi. It's all my fault. So, but
it's
anyway.
all your fault, Barbara.
It always is, my friend.
It's always your fault too, my niece. All right, I'm going to share this on my business page while we get the party started. I am excited about doing these with you every week.
I know. And I like it because it's very much sort of like Star Wars because I titled it Episode 1. And that's
Episode number 1.
so yes, so every Monday we're going to be doing these. And we're just going to be talking about a bunch of different topics because I think that with both of our experiences in life, in love, and business, we can probably, hopefully, empathize with a lot of people and maybe help. I'm not sure, but hopefully we can. So anyway, yeah. So if you are on, say hello to us. Click like also if you can hear us and see us okay, so we know. And
Even better, click share.
Yes, click share if you feel like this is something that your friends would want to, because honestly, we've all been called crazy. Well, I know I have.
I've never been called crazy. I'm a very mild-mannered young lady, very young, in fact, younger than you.
Well, and along with that, that's why I kind of wanted to introduce the topic because well, unlike you, I guess, I have been called crazy many times throughout my life. And the thing is, it's not a bad word. You have to be a little crazy or a lot crazy if you want to succeed. Honestly, I feel like the biggest people who have been called crazy were the biggest risk takers, and
Mm-hmm.
they're the ones that moved things forward. So um, this broadcast today that we're going to do, we're going to be talking about some things that we've done that people have told us you're crazy. And specifically, we're going to get into some business talk and why we see something that other people aren't seeing right now. And
Yes.
the whole concept of, are you crazy, or are you just practicing willful ignorance, right?
That's
So
right.
exactly. So Charity, when you first began doing a side business 8 years ago online with network marketing, who called you crazy? I think I remember someone calling you crazy.
Um, Nobody, in fact. Just kidding. You know, it's kind of funny because I used to be married to someone who, on the regular, told me, "You were never going to succeed. You were never going to do this," laughing at me, making fun of my my business, this little side hustle. Honestly, I didn't even really take myself seriously when I started because it was kind of like, I'm doing this network marketing thing. And it kind of freaked me out, to be
Mm-hmm.
honest with you, that word network marketing, even 8.5 years and a lot of success in the network marketing arena. I still hear the word network marketing and I think, ah, and the reason why so many of us think that, which I'm sure we aren't the only ones who think, oh, those network marketing people are crazy. And I'm sure that you have heard that in your own life, um, is because 95% of the people doing network marketing are doing it wrong. Oh, they're giving us all a bad name for this beautiful thing that we're here to talk to you all about today.
Yes, yes. So when you think about crazy and people who have been called crazy and over time, Henry Ford was called crazy. What are you talking about? You're going to try and have a vehicle on four wheels and
I know what.
or you know or you know when the Wright brothers, what are you talking about? You want to fly? And it's just every time that people have done things in history that have been different or that have been an idea that has moved things forward, they've been labeled crazy. And I know when I started doing, well, I've been called crazy in a lot of different areas of my life, but I think it's because people who see things that other people don't see, they have vision. And it's not a bad thing. It's just that a lot of people, we've talked about this before, have sight. They can see an opportunity or they can see something in front of them. They think that would be a great idea. But because they've been conditioned, I think, to think linearly instead of spatially, they block themselves from their own vision. And vision kind of sees beyond sight, and vision involves patience and all of those things and failure and the scary stuff. So when you're said that you're crazy, that's actually a compliment. I take it as a compliment now because I look at it like, well, I'm set apart,
Yeah.
But when I first started my business, I didn't even tell anybody in my family about it at first until I started to make a little money, because I knew what they would think, because I do things that are not conventional. A lot of times I'm a very old fashioned type of person in my values and that kind of thing.
Yes, you are.
But I am, but thank you. But 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 being crazy, and even for that now, I mean, I'm probably considered crazy because I'm old fashioned in my values and what I really want out of life. But and that's the thing. I knew that I would be seen as different, and it's okay. I don't mind being different, but at the same time, I just moved forward anyway, because I knew my family wasn't necessarily going to be a fan until I made some money at it or proved that it was something that was viable. So, yeah. And when we talk about crazy versus willful ignorance, I really want to go through the definition of that as well. Yes. So I always like to say, I don't think anyone is stupid, although a lot of people might think that others are stupid. I just think that they practice what's called willful ignorance and it's not their fault. And I've seen this because I taught for so many years and have students who come in and they've been taught to follow directions and not to critically think. And you have to critically think in order to be creative and open up that side of your brain to solve a problem. And that's where the entrepreneurism comes from, and leadership skills come from. Beating to your own drum, or being crazy.
That's
so right. Would you like to expand on that a little bit too?
Right. Well, I think what's really funny, I saw this quote on Facebook not that long ago, and it was something like, when you see somebody on Facebook post that they got the job, they will get 5 million likes, so many congratulations, so many, oh my gosh, you did it, that's so great, and it's awesome. But when you see somebody else post, I started my own business, guess what? It's like crickets on Facebook. And I'm going to tell you one thing. I have started 2 businesses. Up until almost 2 years ago, I had 2 businesses. My first business I opened up when I was about 15 years ago is a hair salon. It was in a very bad location. And that was probably the first time I got called crazy in the business world, was because I was investing a whole bunch of money, taking it and putting it in a shoddy location where there were homeless people hanging out. No joke. There were homeless people sleeping at our door of our business when I first opened. The location sucked. I had to invest a lot of money. And I remember so proudly with my business partner, we went up to the salon for the first time to show our parents what we were getting ourselves into. And they were like, how long did you sign the lease for? They thought we were crazy, absolutely crazy. And that was the first time I was called crazy in business. We turned out to be a very highly successful business in the hair salon world in the city that I opened up my salon. And there's just a difference between someone saying they started their own business and getting the job. People are afraid of not having that security net. And yeah, it's a little bit scary. And when you think about business world, the pyramid exists in whatever kind of business you're doing. And if you're an employee, guess what? You are part of a pyramid, whether you know it or not. Can you make more money than your boss? Probably not. Probably not. And the problem is that we're raised in this environment of people just expecting to go to school, get into a lot of freaking debt, and to go and get the job. When guess what? There is no guarantee that if you invest a ton of money, a ton of time in your college career, that you will ever get a job that pays you enough to pay back all of the debt. And so, I mean, there is willful ignorance and there is stupidity. And a lot of the people who are practicing willful ignorance run fast and far because of what we do as network marketers. And as I was saying before, 95% of network marketers, especially in Facebook land, are doing it wrong. And it scares people off because they don't understand it.
Yes, absolutely. And that's just because the people that are in it don't understand it a lot of times
Yeah.
because they've gotten in on hype, manipulation,
Mm-hmm.
or emotionalism. Their friends have said, oh, it's going to be so great. It's going to be easy. You got to get in now, all of this
Yeah.
stuff, instead of saying, all right, this is what it really is. And yes, it's an amazing opportunity, but it's just
Mm-hmm.
like a traditional business in that you're going to have to show up every day. You're going to have to make phone calls. You're going to have to do the work behind the scenes that people don't
Yeah.
see on out on your social media. You're going to have to learn the skill. You're going to have to attend events and conferences and to sharpen your skill and really learn the business model and
Mm-hmm.
understand how your compensation plan works. And a lot of times I think people get into it because they think, well, it'll be a fun little side thing, which is
Yeah.
good. It's a hobby. But then other people who go into it for a serious business, I think they get a little bit, their network is turned off by them only because they've seen so many of the hobbyists, come in and
Right.
just do it a little bit and then stop, right? And I think also that in history, we see things that have been unacceptable and then they became acceptable. For
Mm-hmm.
example, franchises. I was talking about this the other day. Franchises back in the 50s and 60s when they first came out, they were not considered to be, they were scams. They were considered to be scams. They were not considered to be a good business model. And now we know franchises exist all over and it's one of the best business models in the world, but it's tangible and you can see it. You can see McDonald's all over the place. You can see these multi-billion-dollar businesses, but
Right.
with network marketing, you can't see it yet because it's an invisible franchise, even though it's been around for over 100 years.
That's right.
People don't see it, so that's why. And that's why you're considered to be crazy, because it's just the fear of the unknown and it's
Right.
a detraction from what is traditionally known.
Right, right. And I think one of the things that so many people are turned off by in the network marketing world, there are so many reasons, but probably the main one is that they may have been made to feel like they are being hunted by their friends and family.
Mm-hmm.
That is the worst thing ever. I get so many messages on Facebook from people who are new to network marketing. It's very obvious because I've been doing this full time for over 8 years, going on 9 years. and I've been pretty successful at it. And so when you see an amateur posting on Facebook, sending you a message being like, hey, blah, 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 buy my product, you're like, I want to hide that person. I want to block that person. I don't want anything to do with them.
Right.
Another reason why people are turned off by network marketing is they feel pressure from their upline to excel and rank advance because they have their own goals in mind rather than the goals of the person that they're supposed to be helping.
Right. Right.
Right.
And that is so true, because I think everybody kind of gets into it because, of
Mhm.
course, they want to improve their own life, and they want to, whether, depending on what kind of company, if you're in a health and wellness company, you want to improve
Mhm.
your own health, and then you also want to improve the lives of other people, and you can see the business opportunity there, and you want to improve yourself financially too. So you are thinking that way. But as soon as you get out of that mindset and you think about how can I help other people get started and really see them be successful, that's kind of where the teaching mentality comes in. And that's what I saw. I saw, oh, all I have to do is teach people how to do this. I can teach them. You know, that's not a problem. I've always been able to teach people. But what I can't teach is ambition, belief, and courage. That's just
Right.
the three things that are, you have to have those three things in order to be successful. I think in any entrepreneurial
Mhm.
pursuit, you have to have ambition, belief, and courage. Ambition is just something that drives you inside, that you want to, you're maybe you're a competitor, right? Then you have
Mhm.
to have belief in yourself. And a lot of people have ambition and belief in themselves or in what they're doing, but they don't have the courage to overcome the stigma, to go what they go past what they need to do in order to overcome the stigma associated with something that isn't well known still, that really isn't understood. So
Right.
education is what gives people more courage, right?
Mhm.
And that's what I've always thought. I thought, well, as soon as I explain this to people, they're going to say, oh, well, okay, I can do that. But then it's still that fear. What are people going to think of me if I do this? And what if I fail? And then all the real fears come into play, you know, where you really kind of see who you are as a person and what your deep down fears are, only because every time you do anything with network marketing, you know that you're going to have to take hits. It's just like any other sport or any other business or anything that you do. You're going to have to take the hits. You're going to have people telling you you're going to fail. You have to have people telling me, my family actually laughed right in my face. They went, oh, okay. I said,
You're going to do that little network marketing thing.
mark my words. They're like, are you entering into some kind of crisis or something right now? I said, no. I said, I said, I said, no. I said, I think that I could really do well in this. I said, so I'm doing it. Well, it
Mhm.
sounds like a scam to me. And I said, maybe it is. I don't know. But I'm going to just try it, even though I knew it
Right.
wasn't, because I had researched. And that's the
Yeah.
thing. When you're approached about this, no matter what company you're with,
Uh-huh.
do your own research, right? Because it's like, if you go to a restaurant, or if you go on and look at the reviews for a restaurant, right? And say there's 100 great reviews, it's a 5-star restaurant, but then there's maybe 10 bad reviews. Are you not going to go to the restaurant, or are you going to make your own opinion based on that, you know? And I always say people are always looking for, and when they do an evaluation, or they write something on Yelp or whatever,
Yeah.
we always tend to do it when it's bad, right? We don't always go on when it's good and rate it. But as soon as it's bad, we're like, okay, this was horrible and all of that, right? But
Yeah.
we don't focus on the good. And why are we always just focusing on trying to tear down something rather than seeing what's possible and looking at the positive of it?
Mm-hmm. I know it's kind of just the way that our culture is, that we will go on to Yelp and we will find that one guy who was extremely pissed off because his food was cold when it came out at the restaurant, who wrote the bad review that will change your mind, even though there are 99 other really excellent reviews. That we're programmed to find the bad in everything. And that is truly, it's sad. I mean, if you knew what Barbara and I know, what we've learned throughout our years in network marketing, you would say yes without even thinking about it. Because guess what? This is a legit business. And
Mm-hmm.
so many of us are like, oh, I know that one person that tried that one company and they failed. Yeah, well, we've already talked about probably why they failed. So if you're looking for reasons why they could have failed, rewind and watch the replay from the beginning. There are so many people walking around with a negative mindset about business and network marketing. And let me just tell you a little bit about myself if we haven't already met. I was a single mom, and I supported my daughter and I with network marketing. It allowed me to be a full-time stay-at-home mom when I was divorced and a single mom. It allowed me to travel the world with my daughter. Network marketing allowed me to buy my dream vehicle, which is 4 years ago this month. I was a brand new single mom, and it was a pretty proud moment. Um, Network marketing is something that, if you've heard about it, maybe you were learning from an amateur. Maybe you were the one that was being hunted like the scary bear in the park. We all know those network marketers. Facebook is, the newsfeed is full of them. And when you join forces with other people that want to help you succeed, that is where the change is going to happen. You turn your mindset and you start to see success because you're learning it. You're learning how to speak in business terms rather than amateur terms, which that's what I see on the news feed. It drives me crazy. And I wish that I could just kind of go in and tell and teach everybody on Facebook how to do it right. But
Right.
we can't save Facebook.
Well, because if you look at either of our news feeds, what we do, we don't splash products. We don't
No.
do that. We provide, well, I try to provide some valuable content to help people
You do
feel
a good
good
job.
about themselves and
Mhm.
to educate on what I'm learning. Because I think that as long as you're a student and you're not closed-minded to learning something new, then you will
Yeah.
be able to see the opportunity, right? I
Right.
think that you need to ask yourself, am I looking for jobs or am I looking for opportunities? Am I
Mhm.
working for money or am I working for wealth? These are very serious questions that ever since we've been involved in a business school about MLM, that we've had to really ask ourselves. And I've been doing a lot of thinking
Yeah,
because
what
I
did you say
like
the
it.
other night after class? You're like, I'm now questioning my life, like pondering everything. You made me laugh, but I mean, it's true because I mean,
Yeah,
there's
it was a Friday night and I was going to go out, and then I listened to the
you're
training
like,
and
I
I
can't.
thought, and I said, well, now I don't feel like I can go out. I feel like I should just be home contemplating my life.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah.
And I did.
True. It's deep. It's very deep when you're learning about these things and how, our industry has a lot of bad rap. I mean, people don't think about it as a legit business, but I'm here almost 9 years into my network marketing career, still doing the same thing, still sharing the same way, and I prove that it works. Barbara, you're also proof that it works.
Yeah. Yeah. And with any business, this is what I have to say about that, is that people, it's just more, it's broadcast more on social media. It's more evident when people fail. That's that's really good right there,
Yeah.
because that is
Down.
it is it's because if people start traditional businesses, they're out, in their local community, then if that goes under, not everybody knows about it. right? If they fail, most businesses, about 90% fail in the first year, regardless of what it is,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And network marketing, though, people fail at it, but it because they're on social media, then it's just more visible. The failure rate is just more visible, but it doesn't matter. People fail in any business. 90% of businesses fail for many reasons.
Right.
It could be economic reasons, it could be a lack of knowledge of how to do
Mm-hmm.
that business, it could be
Mm-hmm.
work ethic, it could be
Right.
location, it could be timing. There's so many
Right.
different variables for a business to succeed, regardless of if it is a traditional or an online business. The only difference is we see it more, we're exposed to it more online.
Right. Well, and I mean, the way the trends are with online businesses and franchises, I mean, think about it. Toys R Us has been around since I was a very little girl, and down the street is going out of business, and things are changing. Look at Amazon. Amazon is taking over the freaking world.
Mm-hmm.
And what else did I recently learn that GNCs, a lot of them are closing because the trends are changing, because people don't want to go into stores anymore, and people are doing more online shopping, which is honestly, I live in Los Angeles. I prefer to do online shopping than go to these malls that are three of them down the road from my house. That is just the way the trends are going. So you have to be um, knowledgeable about what's happening.
Right.
And, you know, like with Toys R Us and GNC closing, that's pretty crazy. And now we have like things like Amazon and Uber, and they're able to do this without any bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
And that is very similar to what we are doing with network marketing. Yet still, people have that negative thought about, oh, that scam, that
Right.
pyramid scheme. And it's
Right.
very sad.
Right. And when you look at Uber and Airbnb, look at what they're
Mhm.
doing. They don't own anything, and
That's
they're
right.
running everything, right? And so they don't own any, Uber doesn't own any cars. They're basically, they have distributors throughout the United States,
Yeah.
and they pay them a commission, right? Based on
Mm-hmm.
when those people want to work, and those people decide when they want to work, they're available or they're not available, and
Uh-huh.
based on how much they work, they get paid, right? But it's like they're their own little individual. When you're an Uber driver, you work as much as you want. And is Uber a pyramid then? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
But is pyramid really a bad thing? Because it represents strength and structure, and it's on the back of a dollar bill.
That's right.
Pyramids are all over the
Sorry.
place, right?
Sorry, it's so loud. My
Oh no, it's fine.
neighbor
I
just showed up.
you know what? I can only hear myself talk right now.
Okay, good. I'm sorry, my dog is in the other room barking at the landscaper. It always happens when I go on live. It's very annoying.
No
Oh,
worries on that. But yeah, so I mean, I think that when we think pyramid, what we think is that only, well, first of all, I've talked about this before, a pyramid scheme is what people think. And that's when there's
right,
no product, but there's an exchange of money. Well,
right.
every network marketing company has to be approved by the FTC, and there is a product or a service. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not what people are thinking is a pyramid scheme. But
I know.
and honestly, that comes from a reason, because they did exist. But now let's break it down. We've evolved, okay?
Yeah, well, I mean, let's just talk about the traditional corporation. Here's your pyramid.
Yeah.
Up here's the bosses, the CEOs, and here's a whole bunch of employees. Will they ever be able to rise up and make more money? No, we're settling on the fact that we're all going to get our jobs. We're going to work till we're 70. We're going to get 2 to 3 weeks of time off a year to take our vacations. And if we're lucky, we will get a 3% raise. every day. We will never make more money than the people that are up here. Hello, that's a pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
But
Well,
because
and
people
that's
are okay with that, but they will knock network marketing down because it's a pyramid scheme.
right, right. And actually it's more fair than any other business model out there, because it really is about, if you work hard and if you're willing to serve other people. I
Yeah.
can't make money unless they make money. If I sign
Yeah.
someone up, I have to make sure that I set up that invisible franchise, and I go there and I make sure they're trained, that they
Mhm.
understand the duplication process.
Yeah.
It's the same as if somebody, a district manager of McDonald's, goes around to the franchises, right, and
Right.
trains the staff, make sure that they're doing everything, the duplication process, and then the better that that staff does, and
Mhm.
overall, and more money that that staff brings into that franchise, then
Mhm.
the district manager will get bonused from the company. It's a bonus structure. It's the same thing,
Right.
but the only difference is anybody in that McDonald's can now make more money than the district manager, because if they're able to teach more people and they're able to teach more people, so everybody has an even shot at it, you know? So that's what's
Right.
awesome about it. And that's,
That's
it's just not explained well, because it's really not understood, because people don't present the business model to people who understand business, right? They try to present it to people, I think, who they feel like they could push around and who are naive and just are, susceptible to something,
right.
rather than explaining how it really works.
That's right. And I know that a lot of times people fail in network marketing because they want to join their best friend who joined this little company because they wanted a discount. And now this friend is joined with their best friend and it's awesome. And suddenly, this one person that joined the best friend wants to build a big business. And their upline is unable to help them because they just wanted a little discount and they signed up this friend.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's sad that so many people have that mentality about network marketing. And the things that really changed our minds, let's talk about that for a minute. Like, what changed your mind about network marketing? What was the thing that really made you look and think, ah, maybe I want to
Well,
try and
for
grow an income?
for me, it was the fact that when I finally learned how the business worked, when I
Mm-hmm.
saw, because I originally got into it, I was never negative about it. I was never
Yeah.
negative, because the way that it was presented to me was in a professional way. So I was never negative about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I found more people, once I was starting to talk about it, then I found out that more people were kind of like, oh,
Yeah.
no, no, that's not for me. But for me, when it really, the light bulb went on, was within my first month. I made, in 1 week, I made $300. And that was really before I even knew how the business worked in terms of
Yeah.
the compensation structure. And then
Mm-hmm.
I thought, I just made $300 this week, and I hadn't sold anything. It was more of a bonus, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, okay, I made $300 this week. That's a car payment. So I thought, all right, how do I maximize this? So then I really dove into, how does it all really work, right?
Right.
But what's great about network marketing is that you can earn while you learn. You don't have to, like with traditional education, you have to learn and put in 4 years of college or whatever, at least, before you can go out there and earn, right, in
Yeah.
that profession. But this is, you can earn while you learn, which is really
Right.
nice too.
Right. Well, and the thing that changed my mind, a lot like you, I remember getting my first paycheck and it was $14. And I seriously felt like, oh my gosh, this is huge. Because at the time in my life, I was living paycheck to paycheck and I had quit working at my salon. By
Mhm.
75%, I cut my hours. So I was only working 25% of the time because I wanted to be home with my daughter. So it's like, oh my gosh, I got paid $14. This is huge. I can, now put some gas in the car. That was huge for me. Seriously. But the other
Well, and
thing,
that's the thing. I think that people think, well, oh, $14. Why?
yeah,
And they think, well, how long is this going to take?
yeah,
You know, and they
right,
think, why am I putting in all this work and effort up front,
right,
putting all that in up front, if I'm only gonna, if maybe I'll make $14 in the
yeah,
first week, or maybe,
right,
and I'm doing a lot of work right now.
right,
So I just looked at it like, well, all right, I made $14, but I never made any money when I was getting my degree, right? I never made any
right,
money during
right,
that time, and I was paying money in thousands upon
right.
thousands,
A
right?
lot
So
of money.
it's right. So I mean, we have to kind of open our minds, and you can't move forward in life with backward thinking. It's just, I am like really filled with the good stuff today. I'm coming out with these things.
If I do say so myself.
Well, but honestly, people need to just you have to be open. If
Right.
someone you know, love, and trust comes to you and says, and with anything, and they have an idea about something,
Yeah.
at least validate their feelings about it and be
Right.
open to researching it yourself
Mm-hmm.
before you knock them down. I see so many
Right.
people knocking other people down for their dreams and what they
Yeah.
want, and they
That's
think that, oh, well, nobody does this or everybody does that, and you won't be able to do this or that. And I just didn't know that there's just been too many things in my life that the more that you're open to seeing everything around you,
right. Mm-hmm.
then the more things present itself, because it's that
Yeah.
whole thing of when you're thinking about buying a new car, say you want to buy, I don't know, a Honda, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And all you do then, once
Yeah.
you're in the market for a Honda, you're looking
Yeah.
around and all you notice or see are Hondas, right? Because you're already
Exactly.
programming your brain to kind of look for it. Well, it's kind of the
Yeah.
same thing. You have to
Yeah.
program your brain to look
Yeah.
for things. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I mean, too many people are programmed to think that in one particular way, but I want you guys, whoever is listening, who's watching the replay, to open your mind and make your own judgment.
Right.
Really do the research and come up with your own opinion about it. Just because that one guy on Yelp or that one family member who said that you can't because they can't, told you that this thing is never going to work for you, well, don't base your judgment on them. That isn't smart for you. Make your
Right.
own opinion.
And
And
especially if they're broke, don't take advice from broke people.
right, right. This advice coming from the person that's broke, unhappy, working at a job they hate and settling for it because that's what they were taught to do, work the 9 to 5 in a job until they retire. I mean, that is not living. That is not living. And what really opened my eyes to network marketing was the ability to do what I love and work from home. And it's funny because yesterday, I don't even think I told you this. Yesterday, I asked my daughter, she's 10, I said, Olivia, what kind of a business do you want to own when you grow up? I didn't ask her what kind of job do you want to do. I asked her what kind of business you want to do. And because she's always seen me be a business owner, I've always been a business owner since she was born and even before that. So I want to empower her to think for herself, to be able to do what she wants. Well, she was cute. She told me that she wanted to open an ice cream shop with the name of Swirls, and her best friends were going to have other store like restaurants next to her, so and they'd pass food to each other and kind of like in a food court. This was my 10-year-old. So I guess she'd been thinking about this all day, because about 5 or 6 hours later, like close to bedtime, she's like, Mom, I want to do what you do. I want to do what you do because you're able to be home with me. And she says, and I just don't really want to be on my feet all day. This is my daughter. She's 10. And it just really warmed my heart that she sees that, you know, mom is able to be there for her. Mom is able to earn a paycheck and go on vacation and still be present, especially when I was a single mom. And I just want to encourage you that if my 10-year-old could see it, because I haven't programmed her to think that she needs to get a job and go to school. I think these things are all really good. I'm not knocking college at all, but I'm just saying that you can build a huge income by working from home and using the little thing called an iPhone or whatever smartphone you have, and grow something huge that you will be able to leave for your family in future years when you've already died and moved on. You will leave the legacy and a business behind that they can have for years to come.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing. But all right. Well, I think that this has been good for today, our episode 1.
Episode
Next week, I think we're talking about the F bomb.
We're talking about the F bomb.
I know. I can't wait.
Say that 4-letter F word.
Yes. And it's not what you think. Well, maybe it is.
I know, especially coming from us, because people are like, I don't see Barbara saying the F word. And people who know me and follow my page are like, yeah, Charity doesn't say the F word. Well, next week you need to tune in to find out what the F word is.
That's right. All right, woman. Well, you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Okay. And thanks everybody for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.